So, as I mentioned, technical talent. Usually, because we're working on the technical issues, the majority of the people will be, of course, let's say 60, 70%, maybe even 80% of technical talent. And you will be working on a specific application and doing that. Then we're going to the marketing and design. This is something what I mentioned, that you need to have people who will see this from the visual perspective. The ones who are going to put everything together, a little bit of color, a little bit of the design that is just simply very also transparent. The important thing is when you're presenting that everything is transparent, not that it's crowded, too many words, because when it's too much on the screen, whoever is in the judging panel or whoever actually sits, it's very difficult to read, and you're concentrating what's on the screen instead of the person who is speaking. And then public speaking. That's also very important. Who is going to present your project? Not necessarily the one who designed the project or works on the technical issue is a very good presenter. Sometimes it's good to have a salesperson. Sometimes it's just simply good to have a person who is a very good speaker and who actually presents everything well in the coherent way, but also the one who understands your project. This is actually very important that those three, this ABC, 1 to 3, is actually carried forward. And you don't have to have a very big group for the marketing or for the public speaking, but it's very good to have the presence of those individuals in your team. Now, who is your audience when you're actually preparing your project? For whom you are preparing that project? Who is going to use it? How they are going to use it? And of course, at the same time, if the project is well prepared right from the start, you can use it eventually for pitching to the investors. And of course, to presenting to the hackathon judges. So who are the end users? Like what problem are you solving? And what is the solution? And who is actually going to use your application or your technical solution? Then when we're talking about the public, again, who is the public? Those ones are the ones who are just casual people attending the conference. They are the fellow members of different organizations and future potential investors as well. And maybe here in between some judges who are going actually to, eventually have a look at everything. And this is what is very important, that again, you're following those three things, that you're trying to have the answer with your project to this particular issues. Problem. Clearly outline the problem your project is going to address. This is a very important thing. When the judges are listening to your presentation, some judges have technical background. I personally have a financial background. So I will be paying less attention to the technical solution, but rather it is like how your technical solution reflects on outlines the solution to the potential problem. And I will be paying attention who are going to be your users and how they are going to use it and how this is going actually to help them with your application. It is also very important that you showcase how actually that product fit into the market. Just because the solution is fantastic and is very innovative, is it really a solution which solves the problem, or is that solution in a way that creates additional problems and makes judges aware, oh, there is a problem about which we didn't know. What judges are doing at that particular moment is just they're not concentrating on your solution, but they're trying to figure out and about this particular problem. It's just like, okay, is that problem really in existence? How we can address it? Why I didn't know it? And they starting even to question themselves. That actually causes a confusion for the judges. So it's very important just to make sure that what you are doing, it actually pertains to the actual well-known problem which can be addressed, and it's like well understood for everyone. Sometimes it is also good to use data when you showcasing your project. It's not always the case, and it's not always applicable, but when it does, it's actually very good to know what are the statistics and how actually potentially that your solution can resolve certain problems when it comes to the issues which are very well known. Let's say that there is a financial app and how this is going to help people, like statistically, or even like from the region perspective. Like my approach to blockchain is that there are regions in the world which are really want blockchain, but like, for example, in North America, financial system in a way is well established, and they are the regions which want blockchain, and the ones which need blockchain. And it's just when we're talking about South America, like recent events, like even in Argentina, they started to use Bitcoin to pay for example, for tickets, for tram tickets, for bus tickets. Or, for example, there's a lot of usage of applications in Africa just because it's a peer-to-peer B2B, and it's very important for them, and they don't trust these systems. So, for example, showcasing those statistics, it helps the judges and to whomever you are presenting your project to understand how your technical solution is going to resolve certain things, how it's going to speed up certain things, and how this compares between what was in the past and how it can be done in the future with your application. When we're talking about approach to your solution, what are the benefits of using your product? So as you can see when I'm speaking, actually one follows the other. It's just your data, how everything is going to resolve the problem around the world. Well, blockchain is around the world. It's a global trend, global issue. So at the same time, how this is actually going to benefit the ones who are going to use your product. And important thing when we're talking about data is also to know who is your competition, what are they doing, and how your product actually compares to the competition. Even in the hackathon, it might be that your project, your application, your product might be very similar to group which is also presenting to the judges. If that is so, like how you can really make your product stand out, what is actually the difference from your competition or even from existing applications, how you can up this up and showcase it to the judges that what you're doing is truly innovative, or if in a way your project addresses the issues which are already in existence, how it is better from your competition. Climbing the mountain, you pick which one you want to climb, but at the same time, it is very important that you showcase your team. And how you can showcase your team is through the storytelling. Jeff Bezos actually was saying that he hates PowerPoint, and there's a reason for it. And there's a reason why children, for example, like fairy tales or all those stories, because it's catching. It's just bringing your attention to certain things, gives you certain comparisons, highlights the main point. Recently, 2 months ago, I was in the conference in Vancouver, and I've been interviewing, doing some exclusive interviews for a few representatives of different innovative companies. And in particular, one company stand out when I was interviewing the CEO and the product manager for this particular company. He actually highlighted its application which talks about real estate, just to give you the example. and the investment in the real estate and tokenization. And he actually compared historically how everything was happening. Like the lands before belonged to the kings and to nobles only. Right now, when we're getting into the token economics, how regular people can invest in different real estate ventures. And also he described how they started the company, that it was just simply that they started to talk about real estate around the world, and it happened that his friend's mother was in the real estate, and she was actually thinking about it, about something and a certain innovation. Then they started to talk together, and this is when the idea for the project came up. The ones who are listening to it, in a way reflecting themselves, so it's important that you highlight what actually brought your team together, like what was actually the reason, what you wanted to solve, what kind of the challenges you were going through that it made you to think about this particular project or this particular application or technical solution. So the storytelling is actually very important. At the same time, when you have a storytelling, don't try to write down the entire book. It's all about a few sentences. As I said, it's about this 1, 2, 3 or ABC. Keep it short, keep it simple, keep it elegant. And now when we're talking about perfecting a final touches, as I mentioned, you can wear just simple black suit, and then you can enhance it and embellish it with little tie, like with tie or little jewelry or different pair of shoes, and then you bringing something extra. And this is the important thing, that keep it everything at the core, that like judges, whoever listens to you is not distracted from your main focal point of your project. And this is when pay attention to visuals in your presentation. When we were talking about marketing team, when we were talking about visual designers, when they actually can put everything together and make it attractive, and also making judges to focus on your presentation. That everything, as I mentioned, needs to be transparent, that it's easy to read. And at the same time, remember that your presentation is just an addition. People will be listening to what you are saying, and this is just a main point of what you are saying. And when you're doing a final presentation, and when you're doing actually Q&A section, I've noticed that a lot of people sometimes when they presenting, they taking simply too much time, and all of a sudden they are just focused on one particular detail, or they want to showcase how technically good the solution is. And they keep talking about it, and at the end, like nobody really remembers what was said. So it is important to make main points and leave the rest to the Q&A section. If something was intriguing in your presentation, judges will catch on that and they will ask you the question. And if they do, then it's a moment, then you can dwell a little bit more on this particular issue. And showcase your expertise when you're answering the questions. This is, again, so important to have diversified team, because some questions might be pertaining to marketing, some questions might be pertaining to technical issues, then of course technical person can answer this particular question and provide the answer. Or something might be just a general question, or about statistics, or about the data, and the person who is a fantastic speaker, who knows your product, who knows your company, will be able to answer that in the very short, way. Then, final advice. What is important? Believe in your project, because sometimes people are just like standing and they, of course, they understand. It is well understood that hackathon is a couple of days. Sometimes things are not finished, but be proud of what you are doing and be confident. And it's like very important that you just stand by your product. And even if you, in the end, you can even say, it's okay, like we didn't finish that, or that needs to be worked upon, and we are going to work on those things, and we are going to massage that and that. It's very important that one way or another, when you're presenting, you believe in what you've done it, and you've done your best at this particular moment. Make it sure that it's nice, that it's eye-catching, and it's has a focal point, and showcase it. And then, of course, don't forget to smile, because that actually, in a way, catches the attention, just melts the ice, bridges with the audience, and at the same time, well, just even for that reason, it just relaxes your jaws, and your vocals are much better as well. So those ones are very key points, and we will answer your questions, if any, very shortly. But also in the meantime, we would like to say a few words about our group, CryptoChicks, and what are the incoming events. And I will just share my microphone with Carla, who will present that.
Thank you, Anna. That was great. I hope you guys learned something from this. If you have questions about anything in the presentation, feel free to ask us after. Also, if you want this presentation, we can send it to you by email. So just, you can take a picture of this. You have Anna's email right there, and you can email us. We'll be happy to share it with you. My name is Carla. I'm part of the CryptoChicks group as well. I am doing marketing, social media, everything that's online, and also preparing for the events. So I joined CryptoChicks about 1 year ago, and I just want to tell you about what we've been doing since then. We're a group that started in, Okay, we're a group that started in Toronto. The main reason why we started is that we wanted to make blockchain more accessible for all through education and events. And mainly we wanted to focus on women, because we felt that there really needed to be more women in this space. We were going to conferences and events, and it was so many guys, and it just felt overwhelming. And there was no space for women to raise their hands and ask stupid questions like, how do I buy my first Bitcoin, or how do I set up my wallet, because I don't know how to do that. So we thought like we're gonna find a solution for them, so we started organizing meetups, which were just for women at the beginning. Simple subjects like, how do you set up your first wallet, how do you buy on the exchange? And we did it for 6 months. It was very successful. Which led us to do our first annual event in Toronto. It was a hackathon and conference. So the hackathon only for ladies and conference for all. We had 120 girls who registered and hacked in Toronto, and we had 300 attendees at the conference. And everything was very educational. Presentations like this, we asked companies to talk about their solution and not pitch their project. So it was really, really good. After that, we continue around the world. We have ambassadors now who represent us in Switzerland, even Pakistan. We have ambassadors in Russia, and we partner with a lot of events, like, for example, AdCon Hackathon. We will be organizing the hackathon with them. And again, the one I want to mention again is that we're doing our annual conference and hackathon again in Toronto from May 31st to June 2nd. And if there are girls in the room, or if you know girls who will be interested to take part in the hackathon, like, please refer them to this so they can register. And for guys, we invite you to attend the conference. And also, if you have technical expertise that you want to share, you can be a mentor at the event. So we really want to create a collaboration between everyone to make learning more fun. So. Yes. I think that's it. If you have questions.
Yes. If you have questions, we can actually take a few questions right now. We still have the time. And we just also wanted to mention that, yes, the hackathons are for women only, but we are expanding, and we are including right now youth and even kids. And during our hackathon in Toronto, we are going to have actually family day. So we're trying to incorporate truly everyone right now to know and understand everything what is possible about blockchain. So if there are any questions, we are more happy right now to answer them. And if, as Carla mentioned, you can contact me via email as well to follow up. If you have actually any questions during the time when you're doing your project, we are more than happy to answer that and even look at your presentation and help you out, just in case if you don't have right now enough members in your team who are either market or visual artists or even looking from outsiders to look at your project. So any questions right now? Well, I gather that I said it all. If there are no questions, I answered everything, I guess. But here it is the question, yes.
So this might be kind of a loaded question, but how is CryptoChicks approaching the transgender community in these hackathons where it's like female only? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, of course, it's a very good question. As a matter of fact, that was in November, the end of November. We've been also at the DEF CON in Prague, and we've been hosting the hackathon over there, and it was actually very much open for everyone, including transgender. Also, we've been last year, that was in May 2018, we've been a part of AdCon conference, which was at that time in Toronto, and we've been also hosting the hackathon over there, and it was like open for everyone and every single attendee. And we have also upcoming events right now, again AdCon in April in Sydney, Australia, which is open as well. The same situation we have it actually at our hackathon in Toronto. Transgender people are very welcomed, and they can apply to participate in our hackathon as well. Yeah.
Our focus is on diversity. So our goal is to diversify the audience as much as possible and make everyone understand what this technology is. So what we don't want is have one single type of audience. So that's our main goal at the end. Yeah. Any other questions? Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And once again, please do not hesitate to contact us during actually those 3 days at Denver. And we are more than happy to look at your projects and help you out if you need so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's hear it for the CryptoChicks.